What's up everyone and welcome back to another PoE economics video. So today I've got a really nice tool for you that a lot of people are going to appreciate because it makes crafting way easier and way cleaner, especially if you're just starting out and you don't want to plan your crafts in a Word file, Notepad or some random messy notes. This tool is the Craft Planner, and the best part is it's not even limited to one game. You can use it for PoE 1, PoE 2, or basically any game that has crafting with different outcomes and branching paths. And you can save it, export it, and import it. So if, for example, you're a content creator, you can literally make a craft plan once, export to JSON, and share it with your audience. And they can import it instantly and follow the exact same craft. And if someone sends you a craft plan, you don't have to rebuild anything. You just import it and you're good. And this all is on one site, that is poeconomics.com. And right here, you can access this tool all the time connected to your account that you have logged in with. So it will show your email up here, which I have censored, obviously, because this is my personal email. If you don't log in, your crafts are basically saved through your browser storage, which means if you clear your browser history, cookies, or site data, your crafts might be gone. With login, everything is saved to your account and it's done through Google, so it's secure as well. Alright, so once you're in, first thing I recommend is enabling full screen mode so you can actually see the whole workspace properly. You can still zoom in and out and you can resize these panels on the left, of course, so you can make space where you need it. If you scroll down on this left panel, this is something that I might have to fix in the future. You can actually drag this panel, make it bigger and smaller. What I like to do is I like to make it a bit bigger so I can properly read what it says on the left. Now on the right side, if you press prices, you'll see the currency prices section. And that's very important because this is what the tool uses to calculate your spending later. Now let's start with a fully empty craft, right? And what we're going to do to make a new craft is we're going to press on new craft. Obviously, I have already done that. And then we're going to add a step. Each step is basically one action in your craft, and it comes with a few things. It shows you the step name, it shows you the probability of reaching that step, and it also has a done toggle. That done button is important because it's how you track what you've actually performed in-game. When you mark a step as done, the tool adds the cost of that step into your total spent at the top using the currency prices you set on the right. If you undo it, it removes it again. You also have a copy button if you want to duplicate a step, and of course a close button to delete it. Each step also has different inputs and outputs. The input is basically what leads to a step and the outputs are your outcomes. The key thing here is outcomes can branch into different next steps. So you can plan a craft like a flowchart where one result leads you to one path and another result leads you somewhere else. To configure a step, you click it and then on the left side, you get all of the settings. You can set the title and you can add items used in that step. So let's say the first step is a magic base. I set that as the title and then I add an item, the base item. I set the quantity to 1 and the currency like div and for example the unit price, I can select between div and exalted. I can set this right away as well, but I don't have to since I can do that later. So I press add and now it has added this base item and you can see right away in the prices section on the right that we have opened, it says 4 divines for the base right away, and we can change that to, for example, 1 divine, 2 divines, or maybe 10 divines, whatever we set in here, and it will modify the cost. So if this step should only have one outcome since it's buying the magic base, then what we can do is we can delete the step on the bottom left down here. And if I want to, I can also name the outcome something specific like magic base with 2 mods, or for example, +7 to all spell skills. And I can also modify the notes in here, like for example, watch out for bases that have 2 tier 1 modifiers already. By default, if you have one outcome, it's 100%. If you have 2 outcomes, it splits to 50-50. If you have 4 outcomes, it reaches 25% each, and so on and so on. You can also override this by clicking on these percentages right here and, for example, typing 75% and 5%, and it will reflect that in the probabilities as well. And that's also where it gets very, very interesting, because if you start connecting different steps to each other, then what happens is that these probabilities of these outcomes get calculated and it will show you the probability of reaching each step automatically based on the full path. So let's add another step. And one thing to know when you add a step, right now it spawns at the beginning of the graph, except if you click on the output button right away and drag this empty line to somewhere empty, then it will just make a new step. Or if you press on the copy button, then it will add one right away as well. But if, for example, I'm way over here, right, and I want to add another step, this will still get added in the beginning. So then we have to go back to the beginning and drag it right here. Let's add a next step. This step is going to be called add a regal, and this one has two different outcomes. It adds a prefix or it adds a suffix, right? And if we have adds a prefix and adds a suffix, we can add two different steps to that as well. What we can also do is we can, for example, modify the color of adding a prefix. We want it maybe red as well, or we want it yellow or blue or any of that sort. And we can modify this very, very easily here as well. For example, we will make it pink for now. Because it is connected to this adding a prefix and adding a suffix, it will show you this has 50% chance and this also has a 50% chance. For quality of life, if you're like somewhere where it doesn't show any steps and you can't find your steps back, or for example, you have a huge crafting plan and you want to see it all on one screen, what you can do is you can press the fit button and then it will fit all of these different steps onto your screen, and you won't have to worry about like not finding your path again, etc., etc. You can add results, but to keep it simple, you don't really need results right now. They don't do anything especially different from a normal step, so you don't have to if you don't want to, and you can just have your final step be like the endpoint and label it as your result and keep the outcome empty. Results are not super deep, but that will change in the future. Now let's talk about saving and sharing crafts, because that's one of the best features. Once you build something, you can always save it, which I highly recommend, and it will save your craft up here under the name that you have saved it as. So for example, I have this new craft and I want to rename it to, let's say, for example, magic base craft. Then I can save it and I can make a new craft and it will say new craft up here, but I can always load my other magic base craft. Now, the site should automatically save your progress at some point, but what I still highly recommend is that you always press save, so it then actually saves it for sure. If you want to delete a craft, what you can do is you can press the delete button, and then it will ask you to confirm that you want to delete it. You have deleted it, and now you have one less of these crafts. And there's also another cool thing where you can actually export and import these crafts. So for example, you can export it as a JSON, send it to someone, and these people can then import it and use your crafting planner as they want. We have the templates up here. There will be a lot more templates in the future as soon as we get more crafts out. You can see there's tier 1 and tier 2 templates that only people with a tier 1 or a tier 2 rank on the site. And this is very important that this tier 1 or tier 2 is not for YouTube, because YouTube takes a 42% cut of all memberships. What we have basically done is we have converted the membership to the site with full functionality. And here we can subscribe to tier 1 and tier 2 at also a cheaper price that will then allow you to load different templates. And of course, it has a lot of other benefits on the Discord, etc., etc. And you can look at these crafts that we have made for you guys right away. You can see, because I just logged out, you can no longer see the other templates like the tier 1 staff craft or the tier 2 staff craft. If you have someone that sends you a craft, or you are finally done with your craft and you want to now calculate each and every single step, how much you have spent, etc., etc., what you first want to do is you want to modify this EX to divine conversion at the top. So how many EX is one divine? For example, it will be a base of 400 up here, but you can make it 320, 800, or whatever it says right now on the currency exchange. If you have typed in some prices for the items, which you do, of course, on the prices section on the top right. For example, the base is 4 divines, and then you click the plus button on this step. Then it will show you that this step is done, and it will show you how much you have spent so far, which is 4 divine, since you have bought the base. If, for example, I buy 10 bases right away, it will also show me I have spent 40 divines, and the more that I spend, the more that I go down the craft, I can then assume how much profit I have made at the end when I sell my crafts. So yeah, that's the craft planner. I hope some of you guys can use this for your profit. And later today, where the staff craft is going from private to public, we can properly see it as well. So thank you very, very much for watching. Thank you especially to all of our tier 1 and tier 2 members. You really make this project possible. You are the reason why this craft planner has been made already and why there will be a lot more tools for everyone to use in the future. So a special thanks to all of you guys. I'll be seeing you in the next one.